Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is James Harrington, Managing Partner and Vice President of Fieger Law. Joined with me today is Gary Felty. He's one of our trial lawyers at the firm. We have Ashley Romero, who's here with us, her daughter and stepdaughter, Adriana, and their 2-year-old is in the other room coloring, and I didn't think it would be a good idea to bring her in here, but sometimes sitters are tough to come by, and that's one of the reasons why we're here. Today we've announced that we have filed a civil rights lawsuit resulting from the unnecessary, the unjustified, and the illegal killing of Stephen Romero. And we spent some time before we got to this. We tried to get some transparency from the police. We communicated with them back on December 5th and December 8th by way of letter, as well as phone calls. And we were invited, after they turned down our letters through the Freedom of Information Request Act, to see the video. We were invited to the Lansing Police Department to actually see what we thought was going to be the video. And when we arrived and we were walked into the room, we were very surprised that what we were shown was not the video. And I guess I can say I'm not really surprised. It's happened before in these type of cases. It's sad. But it's very uncommon that when we're told we're going to be shown the video, that we weren't shown the video. And you've seen it. You've seen the slideshow and the narration depicting the events that happened. And even after that, we implored through all of you to have transparency from the press, and we haven't got it. And we haven't gotten any response. And so today we have filed a federal civil rights lawsuit in the Western District of Michigan, Southern Division. A judge has not yet been assigned, and it is a 3-count complaint alleging the excessive force, by deadly force, committed by 2 officers on Stephen Romero. There is a failure to intervene claim that the officer stood by while the other was violating rights. And then there is a Monell claim against the City of Lansing for failing to train and supervise these officers. And we will be working so incredibly hard to deliver justice to the Romero family, to Ashley, to Adriana, and Mayana. These cases take a long time, but no question has been answered as to why haven't they shown the video and why haven't they shown transparency. In many cases that I've worked on, we've gone down to police departments and we've been invited to see the video before press has seen the video, and we see it with the family. It happens all the time. So I asked, what are they hiding? And I demand transparency. And we've heard nothing. So hopefully something will come of this today. Maybe they'll turn around and release the press, or release the video, I mean. But we're now 19 days post Stephen's killing. 19 days without a father, 19 days without a husband. And so we will be putting every effort that this office has, that Fieger Law has, into pursuing justice for the family. And we will not stop. We will not stop until every ounce of justice is delivered. I do have a vision for a better tomorrow. I think through this, through the help of you, through the help of cases like this, that we can make things safer, we can make things better, we can make transparency not just lip service, but it takes two. It takes two. It takes the department to be transparent. We came there with family. So I do think a better tomorrow can be achieved, but it takes two. It takes training. It takes education. It takes a willingness to work with community so the community isn't afraid. But until then, I fear that there'll be more families like this. So that is all that I have. Do you have any questions?
You usually start with what happened. Do you know the facts of what happened that evening?
Yeah, it was, the calls were received on a domestic issue, domestic violence call, and the police were responding. The domestic violence had ended, and you saw in the video the police exit the vehicle. You see them with their AR-15 machine gun, .223 caliber. They run up to the driveway, and you see, I mean, I'm just narrating what you see on the video. And Sean, what's important about that question is the only thing that's relevant for the determination as to whether this was a legal or illegal shoot was what is seen there. And every single thing that we saw on that slideshow is 110% supportive that this was an illegal and unjustified death by government firing squad of Stephen Romero. No question about that.
The other thing I should have started with was expressing condolences to the family.
Thank you.
It's, awful time. So you put in the Freedom of Information request for the video, and that's what came. The edited version.
No. What came was a denial. We sent the Freedom of Information request on December 5th. The very next day, we received a denial. And then we did an announcement to all of you, to the press. It got picked up, and then they invited us after the press ran the story. And imagine, without a voice, without somebody speaking on behalf of families, without all of you bringing light to this, how many more individuals out there right now as we speak, from the time that you arrive at this office, from the time that I'm speaking now, how many other people have had their rights violated right now? So no, it wasn't when we first sent the letter. It was, we sent the letter, the request to see the video was denied. We notified them that, to the press, that we were involved, and then they invited us up to show us the propaganda slideshow that they did.
What day was that?
The invitation to the meeting took place on Friday, December 8th.
And as a clarify, I'm sorry, they showed you still photos from the scene that were apparently taken as screen caps from a video?
No. What they've shown was the exact same media release that they provided, which was the narration, the video of the body cam footage of the officer with the AR-15 leading the vehicle, running up to the driveway, and then they do their still shots, and then the chief of police, he knows probably that we can't make our own decision as to what's seen, so he has to tell us what we're about to see and what was seen, but he's not going to show us the video. What I'm describing was what is available to you, which is what we were shown when we went to the Lansing Police Department. They did not show us anything different. They did not show us the actual video of the shooting.
James, did both officers fire, do you know?
Yes. There were two different calibers of bullets that were recovered. There was casings from a Glock 9mm. There's also from a .223, which was from the AR-15. Also, we had an independent and forensic autopsy performed that confirmed the different calibers through respectful to the family. You can finish my sentence, I'm sure.
14 shots, is that correct?
Yes, at least. There were 14 shots that were fired, at least 6 hit him.
Can you clarify, and it's in the release obviously, but if you can wordsmith, they arrive, he's on his knees and showing, lifting his shirt, can you go through what you say he was doing at the time before he was shot?
Absolutely. First of all, what you see is, we've all seen video where somebody's being apprehended. We've seen the video where somebody is actively resisting. We've seen it. We've seen it in media, we've seen it on TV, we see it in the movies. Here what we see is an individual who is complying with commands. He gets down on his knees. He is showing complete submission. He has 2 cell phones in his hands. And here's what he's not doing. He's not making sharp movements. He's not making fast movements. They're open movements, holding the cell phone in his hands, slowly putting them on the ground, doing everything slow, lifting up everything was slow. Everything was very slow and deliberate to say, I am not a threat. I pose no threat. The police officers had knowledge that there was a firearm present, I believe, from the evidence, and he didn't want to be shot for just having a gun, so he's showing them where it is. So there's no dispute, hands are up, deliberate, let's de-escalate this, let's talk it down, let's go slow, and he would have been here. He'd be alive today.
So what do you see when they freeze that frame, James? When he pulls his shirt up, and the cell phones are down, he's on his knees, right?
Yeah, he's on his knees, both hands are up, in a submissive position. He knows that the police are there, and he's trying to do everything so that they don't kill him.
So why do you think they opened the fire? We don't know, but why? What do you see when you look at it?
Here's what I can say to that, Sean. It was an illegal shoot. It was a bad shoot. It was an unjustified shoot. And maybe these officers may have to respond to that question from folks other than me, but 100% that was an illegal shooting, and it was death by government firing squad.
MSP
Period.
MSP still investigating the whole thing?
Yes.
Now that you filed,
Oh, I'm sorry, she had a,
please.
One of the talks too. What are you hoping happens next?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
What are you hoping happens next? You filed a lawsuit, what next?
Well, there's a lot to that question. What do I hope happens next? I've hoped for transparency in this investigation. What I can control is what's going to happen next, and what I can control is I've promised Stephen's family, all of us, they're going to get all of us behind them, fighting for them. That's what's going to happen next that I control. I don't control the Michigan State Police investigation. I don't control whether the Ingham County prosecutors are going to charge these officers for murder. I don't control the United States Department of Justice, who could come out and charge these officers for violating Mr. Romero's constitutional rights as well. They have jurisdiction to do that. I've seen that happen in cases. The Washington, D.C. can come in here and say no, but I don't control that. The only thing I can control is what's in the walls of these buildings. The only thing that I can control is the amount of work and the amount of effort and the amount of justice that we're trying to get for the Romero family. And that's what's going to happen next.
I was going to ask, now that you filed, does it expedite or clear the way to get an unedited video of what, body cam footage, et cetera, or what happens in that process? Does it change as far as accessibility for you now that there's a lawsuit?
That's a great question. The answer is yes. Under the federal rules, there are mandatory disclosures. And so under the federal rules of civil procedure, with the mandatory rules of disclosure without us even asking. They have to give us this evidence. And that'll be in relatively short order. So I hope to have had this over a week ago. But we're not waiting for it. We're taking action. And I was telling the reporter from Fox 2, that's something that I can control. And so that's what we're doing, is we're taking control of that. We're speeding up the timetable. Under the mandatory disclosures in federal court, we will get that. We'll get a whole bunch more evidence too. And this may not be the last time that you hear from me on this case.
Are we talking weeks, months? Do we even have any idea at this point?
Weeks to months. Again, I would hope it would be sooner. But if we filed it today, we'll be serving process relatively soon. I'm certain that I may hear from a Lansing attorney in the next few hours, and we'll be attempting to serve process. They answer the complaint, and then they go through the disclosures of documents after that. And I expect a judge to be assigned probably within the next few hours. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Have you been able to determine if there's any other complaints or anything on file for these officers involved, like any history from other incidents that you've been able to uncover, perhaps?
The short answer to that is I have looked into that. I do have some information, but I don't want to disclose it at this time. But I do have information on that, and I'm just going to withhold on disclosure of that. Anything else, everyone?
Anything the family cares to say at this time?
I think they have a ton to say, and I think I will leave it up to Ashley if you want to say anything. I think at this, no? Okay. Ashley's going to not say anything. Are you okay? Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.